Idealization during the initial stages of a romantic relationship is one of the primary reasons why so many new partnerships crumble, and it's crucial to delve deeply into this phenomenon to understand why this is the case. Let me articulate this clearly. When we first encounter someone who piques our interest, the sheer novelty of the situation triggers an exhilarating rush, a potent blend of anticipation and possibility. This surge of adrenaline compels us to focus on the idea of having found a potential partner, rather than engaging in the painstaking process of truly understanding who this person is beneath the surface. The reality of who they are is often obscured by our own hopes and fantasies. This initial thrill is intoxicating, and it's easy to get swept up in it, leading us to jump headfirst into a relationship. The first few months, often termed the honeymoon phase, are characterized by an overwhelming sense of euphoria and infatuation. People during this time believe they've found their perfect match, someone who is strikingly similar and endlessly compatible. It's during this phase that we view our partner through a lens that is decidedly rose-tinted. Everything they do seems wonderful, and all that we share appears to be harmonious. Life in those moments seems not just bearable, but profoundly beautiful. But here's the critical point. What's really happening is that our brains are almost chemically conspiring against us. High levels of oxytocin and dopamine, those biochemical drivers of pleasure and attachment, flood our system, making us feel almost high on love. These chemicals work in tandem to create a bond, but they also impair our critical faculties. A study by University College London, for instance, reveals that falling in love can actually dampen our ability to objectively assess our partner's character and personality. This means that we're not seeing them for who they truly are. We're seeing a reflection of our own desires and fantasies projected onto them. This blindness to reality, however, cannot persist indefinitely. The human brain's wired to project, to fill in the blanks with what we hope to find rather than what is actually there. We meet someone new, and before truly knowing them, we convince ourselves that they possess all the qualities we've longed for in an ideal partner. It's as if we have a mental checklist of traits and characteristics that we want, and magically, this new person seems to tick every box. This is not merely wishful thinking, it's a psychological phenomenon deeply rooted in our need for connection and meaning. However, this idealization phase is fraught with peril. We overlook flaws, dismiss red flags, and rationalize away behaviors that, in a more objective state, would give us pause. For example, perhaps your partner is perpetually late. In the throes of infatuation, you tell yourself that they're just busy, not that they're inconsiderate of your time. Or maybe they make an off-color joke that doesn't sit well with you, but instead of addressing it, you brush it off, convincing yourself that they didn't mean it. The brain, in this stage, is remarkably adept at minimizing these issues to preserve the fantasy. But as time progresses, typically between 6 and 9 months into the relationship, the honeymoon phase fades and a new stage begins: doubt and betrayal. This is where the rubber meets the road. The initial euphoria gives way to a more nuanced reality. The projections start to peel away, and what remains is the raw truth of who your partner is, complete with flaws and imperfections. The quirks that once seemed endearing might now become sources of irritation. Those minor annoyances you dismissed earlier, they've grown into significant issues that cannot be easily ignored. It is during this phase that the illusion starts to crumble, and what was once perceived as a perfect match is now revealed as a partnership fraught with differences. The kindness you once saw might now be tinged with impatience. The adventurous spirit you admired might now come across as instability. You begin to realize that the person you fell for is not who you thought they were, but who you hoped they would be. This realization can feel like a profound betrayal, and it forces you to confront a stark reality. Do you continue with this person, knowing their true self, or do you? This brings us to the third stage of a relationship, the decision. This is a moment of profound clarity, where all the illusions have fallen away, and you're faced with the truth of who you are and who they are. The question you must ask yourself is whether you can accept this person as they are, with all their flaws and imperfections. Are the positives in your relationship strong enough to outweigh the negatives? This decision is not easy, and it is here where many relationships falter. Those who idealize love the most, who are most enamored with the fantasy of a perfect partner, are often the ones who find this truth particularly painful. But here's where the wisdom lies. If you choose to walk away, hoping to find someone who better aligns with your idealized vision, you may find yourself repeating the same cycle. Dating apps have exacerbated this mentality, creating a culture where people and relationships are seen as disposable, easily replaced by the next match. However, running from one relationship to the next in search of perfection is a futile endeavor. You will continue to encounter betrayal, disappointment, and disillusionment if you persist in chasing an unattainable ideal. At some point, you must confront the uncomfortable truth. There is no perfect person. Every individual you meet will have their strengths and weaknesses, their qualities and flaws. The challenge, and indeed the beauty of a lasting relationship, lies in accepting and loving someone not for who you wish they were, but for who they truly are. If you continue to run from relationship to relationship, chasing an illusion, you will miss out on the profound, real love that comes from truly knowing and accepting another person. This is not a path for the faint of heart, but it is the only path that leads to genuine, enduring connection. That's it for today's discussion. Let me know what you think in the comments again. Thanks for listening.